Um, I'll put the link if Dalmatian Dog wants to come on, but I don't know if he's gonna want to talk. Well, Claire's not here, so he's not gonna want to come on. Okay, I posted the link. Um, yeah, Claire says I want to be a big fish in a little pond. No, I have interests, Claire. Claire, I have my own interests. Ugh, yeah, I actually want to study a little bit about Kabbalah and Freemasonry and connect it to Jehovah's Witnesses. And I also said, oh, is this Louis Wain?
Hang on.
Hello?
Hang on. Give me a second. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry, my headphones shut off randomly. Or they disconnected and I had to reconnect them. But
Yeah.
yeah, what's up, Bruno?
I'm good. I this document is starting to pick up a little bit, but it's not a long book. It's not a long book, but uh
Right.
you said you like Freemasonry. You like the subject of Freemasonry.
Well, I wouldn't say that I really like it personally. I consider it satanic, but I think there's a niche that you could very easily fill with the Freemasons and the Illuminati and the Hindus. There's a niche you could pick up on if you were so inclined.
Well, no, I really am inclined, and I really want to get into the Hindus and the Illuminati by way of Noahidism because they're all connected. Because I had a website up called Indian Illuminati Exposed because over in India there's this cabal of Jews. There's this cabal of Jews.
You're literally a gay fascist. That's so great. That's so great. That is so great. That's awesome. Actually, yeah, you're that's.
But no, but I know.
I
It's
believe I believe you. I believe trust me, I believe you, but at the same time, it's so great that you're a gay fascist. That's so great.
Yeah, but no, over in India there's this cabal of Jews, and they're young. This is like so they're young and they're in Israel. The headpins that I found are in Israel, and they are leading all these Hindu Zionists, these Hindutva Indians over in India online, and grooming them and basically so yes 90% of it is all just so pro-Israel and all this other kind of
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah. I mean,
but a lot of it is Noahide. Number one, there is Noahide going on there. They are Noahidizing them. They're doing it very subtly. They're not like going into like, hey, everyone become a Noahide. It's just right now it's just kind of like, well, it's not that bad of a thing, just because they're hearing about it and they're getting them to kind of accept it and be defensive about it. And if anyone tries to say that there's a Noahide agenda in India and there's something wrong going on here, to kind of like get
could
rid
you
of them.
could you briefly fill me in on who Noah Hyde is? Isn't that like a political commentator? I've never really watched his stuff.
Oh no, Noahide is a set of laws. Noahide is the seven laws of Noah. The
Oh. I thought there was like a political commentator named that, but I've never really seen his stuff.
No, no. The Noahide laws are seven. So the Noahide laws come from the Babylonian Talmud, and they are seven Jewish laws, but they apply to non-Jews. They are the seven
Right.
Noah. They apply to the non-Jews mandatorily, so we have to follow them. The Jews made them up, but we have to follow them. And
Right. And where are you from exactly? Like, if I had to guess, California, honestly.
I'm from New York.
Pretty close.
Yeah, where are you from?
I'm from Texas, the great state of the Bible Belt, you know.
Hmm.
Yeah, but your political ideology, this is amazing, actually. Yeah, we got to get you to do debate, honestly, in that Telegram group I invited you to. Do you know who George Byron is?
Yeah, yes, I've debated him before.
Yeah, he's the one to put me on to you. He said that I should recruit you. So, yeah,
Hmm.
that's pretty much why I invited you to that. But this whole thing, this is amazing, honestly. Like, holy cow. What do you think of the Illuminati?
Well, the real part of it, um, okay, obviously, I think, there's someone fixing my bathroom and they just heard me saying cabal of Jews. I don't know. They must think, they must think I'm some anti-Semite. Um,
I mean,
um,
everything that you've said so far, I think that would firmly place you in the anti-Semite category, at least somewhat.
yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely. Um, I know someone from Norway. His name's Sarama. He says the Freemasons run his country, and he says that the king is a Freemason.
Well, yeah, I mean, okay, it gets to the point. I think I think Freemasons are doing a lot of stuff and are helping run countries and are doing really bad things. But I think like people get hysterical and then start accusing everyone of it being a Freemason and everything being a Freemason plot.
Oh, absolutely. That guy definitely falls victim to that. But he's very entertaining when he starts talking about such things. Yeah.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
you're gonna be like the occult gay fascist on YouTube.
Well, I left the occult. I'm not in the occult anymore. I was
No.
deep into it.
I mean you're studying it, right? Like you're talking about like the
Yes. Have a
Freemasons
good
and all that.
one. Yes, yes. Yeah, like, well, I want to study right now. I'm studying the Freemasonry right now, and I am going to get into Judaism and Hinduism, you know, the because the Jews and the Hindus are really working together. And I was a Hindu for 9 years. And
Really.
yes, that's why because I was a Hindu for 9 years and I converted to Hinduism. And I was like, oh, okay, I converted to Hinduism because it looked like European paganism, but a lot more developed and a lot more intense and rich and colorful and all this other kind of stuff. So
Well, I mean, to to be fair, that like the Indo-Aryans did leave a good bit of their cultural impact on the early stage of Hindus.
They did, but it's poison in that it's poison in okay, so you know that the Jews claim that they wrote the Vedas, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay, the Jews claim that they wrote the Vedas. Okay, most Hindus are either monotheists, and I would say that probably makes up like 70% of them are monotheists. And then I
Yeah.
would say another more than 25%. So now we're above 95% of Hindus would say they're soft polytheists, which is the same as monotheism. So if somebody says they're a soft polytheist, they're still a monotheist. I mean, you're like kind of like a mix between one and many gods. It's like, but all the gods are still connected to one. It's still monotheism.
Right.
And you will hardly find any Hindus who say they are true polytheists, hard polytheists. It's called hard polytheism. Um, so because of this, I always knew hard polytheism was a minority opinion in Hinduism. I wasn't I didn't know how much of a problem it really was until the Hindus, many of these like prominent Hindus, not just, a bunch of nobodies, like a bunch of prominent Hindus went to Israel and met with the chief rabbinate of Israel and officially had Hinduism defined as not polytheism, and that they don't worship gods, they only worship one supreme being. So when I first saw that, and it was to make it Noahide compliant. So those Noahide laws, which are laws for the non-Jews, they prohibit idolatry for non-Jews. So the Hindus did not want to be labeled as idolatry under the Noahide laws. So they went and they had it labeled as not polytheism so that it would not be considered idolatry, even though parts of it still are considered idolatry, even when you define it that way. So the Hindus have allowed the Jews to define their religion for them in order this monotheism they're and the thing is that they are complexed in that they want to be monotheists because they were made fun of for being polytheists for so long, and they're so reactionary and they want to be monotheists so bad, that they're very, they're willing to kind of like sell their soul in order to join the monotheists.
Yeah,
And
yeah. That's a. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't really know that much about Hinduism. Like I know they have a bunch of deities and whatnot, but I really don't know the specifics of most of it. So
well, yeah, but all you need to know is that it's soft polytheism, and most of them are antagonistic to hard polytheism, and they've accepted, they're going to go with the Jews. Spiritually they're going to go with the Jews, and that was number one, and that's what I didn't see that at first, or I didn't realize that at first, that more so. Okay, I thought this is what I thought was going on. I thought the Hindus were desperate and the Jews were working with them and the Jews were being nice to them and the Jews were helping them, so they were loyal to the Jews. And I said, okay, the Jews are manipulating these people. The Jews are taking advantage of their naivete, all this other kind of stuff. And the real reason that the Hindus are going to the Jews, the undercurrent, especially with this Noahide stuff, is the fact that they are monotheists and they want to be monotheists, and so they're going to join that Noahide pact. They are they are anti-hard polytheists. They're anti-hard polytheists. So they're even
right,
spiritually they're in that covenant too. They're under the monotheistic covenant.
right. Yeah, that's hell of interesting. Let me think here. So, would you be interested in with Claire debating two transgender incels?
Yeah, sure.
Absolutely awesome. I invited you to that Telegram group, so
Yes,
we'll
I'm
see.
in it now.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get that set up. Jordan will give you the details when he figures out what exactly we're doing. You have a
Yes.
very strange outlook on this, which I think is personally fascinating, and I don't know, I can just see I can see it'd be very entertaining to throw against someone who I don't know, a transgender,
Are they men who became women or women who became men, or
both men who became women.
and now they can't find lovers?
No. Well, one of them transitioned because do you know what the pink pill is?
No.
Oh, it's basically this ideal in some incel groups that women have it so much better in society. So you should just become a woman, and then you'll be treated better in society. So that's what the pink pill is.
Yeah, no, I've heard of the concept.
Yeah, it's incels turning into transgenders because they believe women are treated so much better in society, so they should become
No.
women.
And I heard you can still have an orgasm once you get your vagina, so they could, even if technically because it's easier to get sex as a woman, so they could still like actually really get sex and really come if they wanted to.
Yeah, one of them brought that up quite a bit. So you know,
Oh, really? They brought that now they can get sex.
yep. Um, it's going to be a very interesting debate, honestly, between you two if we can get it coordinated.
Yeah. Where does she live?
One of them's German, one of them's American.
Hmm.
There's two of them. And could you explain for a second, like why, like you and Claire, like get along so well? Like, why does like a Muslim Chinese woman who wants to turn the UK into an Islamist state, like ally with the gay fascist? I
We're not
I
allied
don't quite
together.
understand that.
We're not allied together. No, no. We're frenemies in that, like, we stream together. In that, me and Claire. The thing about Claire is that Claire is I disagree with Claire. It's not that I agree with her or that and Claire always tries to me to get to join her plans all the time, and I never join her plans. I'm not going to help her do what she wants to do. But
Hang on. Claire, I see you in the comment sections. Join the freaking. You have the link. Join this, and we can talk about it. But yeah,
um
go ahead, Bruno.
she's but she can, like, excuse me. Okay, she's someone I disagree with, but can have an intellectual conversation with. And that,
Right, right.
yeah, she's at least I can have an intellectual conversation, and it's harder to have it. It's hard to find that, especially in the far right. It's hard to find anyone to have, like, or at least the level of intellectual conversation that I want to have, and
Right,
ser-
right.
like a degree of seriousness, and she.
That's kind of what I'm trying to do with like bringing all these people together for debates. It's kind of like, yes, you have very weird, very extreme political views. Let's sit down and talk about them together. How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
But, uh,
Well,
Claire, you can join and you can like tell me what you actually are. But from what I've seen of you, I just assumed you were a Muslim of some kind. At the very least, you seem to want to turn the UK into an Islamist country of some kind.
secular Quranist state. It's Islam without God.
What?
It's Islam without God. Secular Quranism is like Islamic laws without the religious part.
Uh, don't really know how many people would be on board with that, honestly. Like, that seems like a good way to piss off the Muslims and the anti Muslims. Um, oh, she's in the comments.
Yeah, she said I actually trusted him to explain my ideas. Yeah, I mean, she just believes in, yeah, she believes in, like, the Quran has religion and then it has laws in it, right?
Yeah.
So if you ignore the religion and you just take the laws and you implement the laws, that's secular Quranism.
Hmm. Well, I mean that clears up some of it, but at the same time, like I said, it doesn't. That seems like a good way to piss off both sides of the spectrum. The West needs a moral system. Yes, we have a moral system. Came from this man named Jesus Christ. He lived about 2,000 years ago. I don't know if you've heard of him. Is Islam light? All right. Well, I don't know. The thing is, if you water down something extreme and it being extreme is what made it so great, maybe you'll just be left with something that's not great at all. Oh,
Um,
I think it needs social. Look, Claire, could you please just join so we could actually talk about this instead of me replying to your comments? But I think the West needs social conservatism. I'm a Protestant, Protestant from the Bible Belt. I'm not really a Muslim. I mean, I don't have any problem with them. I rather like some of their countries, but I don't personally agree with them on a religious level. Christo liberalism is kaput. Absolutely, absolutely, it's kaput. But the thing is, there have been cultural revivals in the past which have led us back to a more conservative leaning place. And honestly, it's just one of the things where it's like, what has more cultural influence in the West? Islam, even secular Islam, or a religion that has been the main religion of the UK for what? 1,000 years, 1,500, maybe even more than that? I'm not quite sure. If Christianity is idolatry, then it is cursed by God if he exists.
So according to Noahide and to Islam, so Noahide and Islam are very similar. So the Noahide laws are 7 laws, and this is what they are: no idolatry, no blasphemy, no sexual immorality, no murder, no theft. Do not eat the flesh cut from a living animal, and establish courts of justice to enforce these laws with punishments. So those are the 7 laws. They kind of sound like Sharia, but under both Sharia and Noahide law, Christianity is considered idolatry. So, but under Claire's secular Quranism, it's not illegal to be an idolater, but under Noahidism, it is illegal, and you could
Right,
be
right.
you would be punished. But I mean, it could lead to capital punishment to death if the community was strict. You would be put to death for Christianity for idolatry.
2,000 minutes is only 2 minutes. 2,000 years is only 2 minutes to God. You are absolutely correct. But God is not going to be the one that will flip the commit. Like, God is not going to come down and say, "Hey, by the way, this secular Quranism is what you need to convert to, you Mr. UK people." No, what's going to happen is these people who have ancestry going back hundreds, if not thousands of years, are going to be like, "Do I want to join the religion that my ancestors fought so hard against? Do I want to join the religion that Richard the Lionheart, one of our greatest heroes, fought massive battles over?" Like, honestly, the Noahide against idolatry and blasphemy would come into Oh, absolutely.
Okay, yeah, but
Well,
so that's the
I,
difference between she says so like so she says though Muslims disagree with her. You have to understand this is her interpretation of the Quran, and a lot of
right,
Muslims
right.
disagree with her. That
That's what I said. Yeah, yeah. Like this
she
seems like
said
something that would piss off both of them.
Yeah, she said that the Quran does not outlaw idolatry or blasphemy. So she would allow those things to take place under secular Quranism. And she says people would prefer that because it doesn't break the First Amendment of the US. So she says that people will accept it because it allows, even though it considers Christianity idolatry, it permits it.
Yeah, honestly, I just feel like anything other than say Christianity would, as the let's say the state enforced religion or rules or whatnot, would probably create a massive backlash. I'm not gonna lie. If you believed in God, you would have mortified the fact that you're guilty of idolatry and blasphemy, which God forbade in His commandments. How am I guilty of either of those? Please explain to me, Claire.
Okay, I can explain to you from the Noahide perspective. Okay,
Okay, go ahead.
you believe in the Trinity, right?
Yes, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Okay, so you believe Jesus is God.
Yes.
Okay, so you believe God took physical shape. Hello? Oh, he jumped out. He fell out. Oh, he had a call. Okay, wait, he's coming back. Here's Claire. Okay, he's coming back, Claire. He just had a call.
Hi.
Claire, he's coming back. He just had a call.
Okay.
Um, when he comes back, we'll tell him about idolatry. He'll be back in a minute.
Okay. Well, at least we're getting some interest. But this thing I'm going on about, this bridges of meaning and those people who are having their conference in Chino, I think that could drum up quite a lot of interest.
Um, uh, Louis,
Hi, Louis.
Louis.
Sorry, I had someone call me.
What?
So
What's your name, Louis or Louis?
Lewis. You can call me either, whichever you prefer. I don't really care.
Okay. So anyway, back to idolatry. So you believe Jesus is God?
Yes.
Okay. So you believe God took physical shape?
Yes.
Okay. To believe that God has entered the physical world in any way, shape, or form as a bird or as an animal or as a stone or as a tree or as anything, to say God has taken physical shape alone and then even to do worse and to worship him in that form is idolatry.
Hmm.
So God cannot enter, that God is separate from his creation, totally separate, and has stated that he would never enter the creation. And so Christianity, by definition, to say Jesus, a human being, is God, is idolatry according to both Islam and Noahidism. And then according to Noahidism, to say that he is God is also a form of you're also blaspheming. To say you are the son of God or that you are God is also considered blasphemy.
Now, you're starting to sound like a Jew. What was I
No.
gonna say? Well, personally, I believe God had two natures, the human nature and the divine nature, and I worship the divine nature, not the human nature, at least in his human form.
So you don't worship Jesus in his human form.
No, I don't worship his human. I worship his divine nature, not his human nature.
Okay,
I
but
don't
you
I don't I don't have any idols of Jesus, any crucifix or anything hanging around my room or anything like that.
right. So but I think you're still guilty of idolatry because you say God took shape.
Maybe I am. Well, I guess it really just depends on your opinions or if you think that's BS or not. Personally, I don't, but I think it's fine if you two believe that.
Well,
Well, it's
okay,
not
I'm an
what we believe, but what God is. Is he
God,
really
you're a
Jesus?
secular Quranist. You believe in taking the God out of the Quran. Like, don't talk to me about what God thinks.
I'm not
Like, by
saying,
your
I'm
own,
just saying, he might disagree with you guys. That's all. It's something to
it's
consider.
complete. It's completely possible. Like, there's no guarantee that he agrees or disagrees with any religion on the planet, but I have belief, and that's enough for me personally.
But it's
but
full
uh
time.
just so you know, I'm an accelerationist, so I
Oh,
don't
I know.
uh,
I've heard you talk a little bit. I've seen a few. I watched a few of your streams. Yeah, you got some. You have some
yeah.
interesting stuff,
So
honestly.
the thing is that I mean, when I promote Noahidism, I'm doing it maliciously, and that I'm not actually a Noahide, and I'm not actually promoting Noahide. I'm just accelerating it and trying
You
to.
you want chaos. Yeah, I understand that. You want whatever will cause the most chaos. Yes, I understand that. But
Kind of, yes.
yeah, it seems like whatever will cause the most conflict between like the organized religions or whatnot, political parties, or so your gay,
Yeah.
so your gay fascist empire can rise from the ashes. Yeah. But honestly, I'm glad that both of you decided to join that Telegram. Yeah, we'll see how we can get the debate set up sometime in the future. Probably within this week, honestly.
Yeah. I'm generally going to be working from 4 till 10 on
Uh,
weeknights. Let me get my schedule because I just started in a new job.
all right.
So let me
We'll,
get
we'll,
my. Mhm.
yeah, we'll see because like currently it's just up in the air. Like now we have all the contestants, all the people who will be debating, but we got to get a schedule, a day, etc. So it's all very flexible at this stage.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, so okay, yeah, the tranny debate sounds good. We can do that.
Yeah,
Do they have a YouTube channel, these
they each
trannies?
they each have a YouTube channel. You want me to link them?
That would be great. Yeah.
Let me find. Oh, they are
Yeah.
also in that Telegram group. They are one of them's a Purple K and the other one I forgot the name, but let me find their YouTube channels. Let's see here. DMs Pilu. I see what Koper Pilu Truth.
What's your educational background, Louis?
I graduated high school last year.
Hmm. Oh, you're so young.
Yes, yes.
Young but ambitious.
I was never planning to do this. Like my original intention is, it's like these people are funny that I know, like online. I'm gonna bring them together in a server, and then someone recorded them talking, and now we're doing this like actually. So
Mhm.
we'll see how far it goes. This is one of them, I believe, that I just linked her, they, whatever channels in the back chat.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I get it about men wanting to enjoy a bit of feminine privilege, which is basically having more offers of sex than you would
Yeah.
like to accept. Are you a feminist, Louis?
I would consider myself personally. Well, first off, to establish, I don't think my personal opinions are interesting enough to talk about too much. But personally, I would consider myself a conservative.
Hmm.
So yeah, no, I wouldn't consider myself a feminist. No. Let me find the other transgenders.
Do you have any ambitions for your channel, your project? I suppose you're basically like a, I don't know. It seems like you're some sort of boxing promoter. You're just
That's
finding.
literally what it is. It's going to be
Mhm.
internet blood sports, basically.
And do you have any kind of criteria to decide who won or lost the debate? Because I have ideas about that, and I just think it's silly just to, you know.
Well, you can give the ideals. Basically, the only rules we have now is that if you like leave and like rage quit, that's a KO. Um, but otherwise, it'll be up to the audience basically to decide if you won or not. Yeah, the animation and whatnot that was made by George. So I'm like George's honestly doing a lot of the work here. I'm just doing the recruiting like this.
Hmm. Hmm. Yes, yes, he's quite talented in his own little way. But okay, my okay, I'm a political activist, and I obviously wanted to get somewhere, and I think you know how these boxing matches go. You have unifying titles, right? They're all
Yeah.
these sort of different, what do you call, belts, and then all the and all the heavyweight boxers
Well,
of all these different belts. Eventually, yeah.
yeah, we don't have that worked out yet. We're just making this up on the fly. Yeah, we don't have anything like that worked out yet. This is
I know, but I'm saying, what could add an additional dimension to it is that you have a kind of
reigning champ, basically, that like other people get to work their way up to.
yeah, and then people will just sort of, oh, I want to debate him, and then that there'll be objective criteria for people
Yes,
to do, there would be a ranking, and then
yes.
people will, yeah.
Yeah, like you'll
So
have like your lower level randos, and then like above that you'll have people who are pretty good at. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, because there are already lots of channels who do this sort of thing, like modern day debate and
Oh,
what
nothing like
politically
this one.
provoked.
Nothing like this. Just trust me when I say that. Nothing
Really?
like this.
So what's your USP?
What's that?
Your unique selling point. What makes you think you're going to be better, and and
Well,
than the others?
the first thing is that all these debates we're just recording the audio, and then for the video we're just gonna have like however long the debates last. It's just gonna be that long of street fights playing over the uh, over the debates. Secondly, I would say that we have some of the most schizophrenic individuals around. So I say we have some of the more unique um, people to actually shove into this. I'd say, and it's a bunch of little things also, like the animated opening, like a bunch of small things like that,
Hmm.
pretty much.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh. So basically, there's no moderation. It's just two people
Oh,
slugging it out.
There
Is
will
that
be some moderation, like if someone's hogging too much time or screaming over someone or like going off on a tangent about nothing, there will be that moderation.
Mhm.
Also, the reason we record it ahead of time is because the last one we did got a little bit heated, so we had to edit out all the cuss words, the M-bombs, and the gay slurs that were thrown around.
Oh yeah. Mm.
It was so funny because those guys, like, the most common ground they found was when they talked for 10 minutes about how much they wanted to kill gay people.
Hmm.
That was literally the most common ground they had.
Mhm. Yeah, because I think it'd be kind of fun to actually not moderate it, and it's sort of kind of like pushing, two people who hate each other into the same room and say fight, 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 and
Well, the
and that
thing
would.
is, we try not to moderate it too heavily, but at the same time, like if the conversation gets a little bit dull or whatever, someone will pop in and ask a question, basically, or like just be like, because the last time there was a guy, he was going off on if we didn't stop him, he would have gone off on a 30-minute tangent about how Satan created black people from Noah's DNA or something like that. Like, you
Mhm.
can't let him go too far off on a tangent, or else it'll just be nonsense.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I agree with you. We prefer a sort of hands-off approach with these people. Just if they're not doing anything interesting enough, we'll give them like a prompt, you know?
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
But what
This is
about
really
attracting
awesome
the better
topic.
quality speakers? I don't know. I mean, I suppose
Better.
modern day debate have a nice um, balance. I suppose they get quite good ones and
As for
amateurs.
attracting people, currently I'm just like I had a bunch of people now in my DMs just sending me links to random streamers and people with like 50 subscribers on YouTube, and like I'll just join their stream and be like, "Hey, you want to debate someone that you really hate their ideology?" And that's pretty much what I've been doing so far. It's been rather
Mhm.
successful. Um, Other than the black dude that just kept on calling me a Nazi until I left. So he
Mhm.
was he was crazy. He was genuinely insane. Like he said, the three races were black, Asian, and Nazi. Those are the only three races in the world. That was his take on such things. But
Have
yeah,
you had any dealings with Muslims?
Muslims.
Mhm.
Mr. Pilu was our first guest,
Oh
so
yeah.
yes,
Yes, you
yeah,
mentioned that. Mhm. Okay.
yeah. Also, I recently came upon two self-described black conservatives who have joined, and given the fact that they're black, they probably are Muslim, but I'm not sure.
Mhm.
Majority of like black conservatives I've run into are usually Muslim, but maybe not.
Well, Jesse Lee Peterson isn't.
Um, I mean the people I've run into like in these little niche corners
Mhm.
of these people, they're usually Muslims.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I think you'd be the first secular Quranist on, but
She's the
Well,
only secular
well, here's
Quranist.
I
trust
have a
me, I'll
few.
trust me, I'll find someone similar. There's some other people with her ideology somewhere out there. You just got to find them.
She's trying to convert. She's trying to recruit them.
Yeah, yeah. Go
Excuse me.
Power Rangers! Like they all just form into a giant secular Quranist.
Well, I think John Vance is not. It's quite a good debater. Do you have you come across him?
I've never heard of him before. I mean, I am open to like if you can link any of these people's channels, I will check them out. I've been
Yeah, he had just
really
had his account deleted, but he
uh,
was a member of the Canadian Nationalist Party.
yeah, yeah. We have several Canadians as well,
Yeah. All
three of
right.
them, I believe. But yeah,
Okay.
yeah. If he gets his channel back up, or if he gets a new one, link me. It sounds like a
Mhm. All right, I'll do that.
Yeah. I want to get more like leftists on because right now we have a bunch of conservative, Nazi, neo-Confederate, whatever people, but I want to like try and find some more liberal types. Honestly.
Liberals are just not as interesting.
Yeah.
They're just not as interesting, and also they're less likely to talk to someone that they don't agree with.
Yeah. That's my experience too. It's I don't know. It's more than that. It's like even if they aren't interesting, like you can pair them with someone who's super interesting. Like just watch what happens from there. Like pair them with someone who thinks like the Earth is flat, and then like have them debate that. I think that would be funny.
Do you have flat earthers?
Two of them, yes.
Oh my God.
I have one of them that just thinks it's flat, and the other one that thinks it's flat and hollow. So yeah,
Flat and hollow?
yes.
So, oh my.
He believes every conspiracy ever. He thinks the pyramids are fake, DNA is fake, and that Tartaria is real. So,
What's Tartaria?
for a brief overview, it's like a conspiracy that there was this civilization. You've seen a map of the Mongolian Empire, right?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, like you know how massive it was. The conspiracy is that wasn't Mongolia, and it was actually a civilization called Tartaria, and they were super advanced, and they ruled the world for like thousands of years. They also controlled most of North America. And then like the British Empire wiped them out in World War One and World War Two, both of which that never happened. And that what's it called? And that since then the history has been deleted. Also, there's a
Okay.
bunch of stuff of like they had like magical. It's every conspiracy ever meshed into one, basically.
Okay. Yeah, I don't go for like many conspiracies. Like everyone's like, oh, Noahide's a conspiracy, but you have to learn more about it. I thought you knew what it was, but there's a lot more evidence for it than QAnon, let me tell you.
Oh, we got to get some of those guys too. You know, we need.
Yeah, but I think QAnon finally fell out of favor.
Oh yeah, definitely. They've been on the decline as of late.
Yeah, since the inauguration.
Uh, yeah, pretty much.
What are you gonna be pushing for Trump this time around or no?
I'm gonna be pushing for Kanye, man. Kanye 2024.
Is he still running?
I don't know. I'm joking. I have no idea. I don't even know who's. We'll see what the political landscape is actually like before I choose a side. Because currently there's a bunch of candidates, but no. I mean, Trump's confirmed, but I think Ron DeSantis is fine in his own right. So I don't know, honestly.
Well, I'm just looking. Because I wanna do a no hide support page for some presidential candidate in order to get attention and to politically shake things up. So I have to find out who to support. Trump is a really big Noahide guy. The Noahides really like him. He's really big with Israel. His daughter is Chabad Lubavitch, so she's involved in Noahide. You know what Chabad Lubavitch is?
He sounds like a Jew.
Chabad Lubavitch, no, he's not. It's an organization. It's a big Jewish Orthodox organization, and they really push Noahide.
That's great though. That's great.
You could kind of think of Noahide as like Jewish Sharia for the non-Jews.
Right. It's for the goyim, the law.
Yes.
For the goyim to a bit. Yeah. That's pretty much the scope of it right now. Like I said, I largely just do the recruiting for this stuff. Other people do the editing and actually own the channel and whatnot. So we'll see how that goes.
Okay, well, I'll do it.
Epic. What was I gonna say?
Claire's
That is a
being
good.
quiet. Hmm?
Yeah. I was saying that is a good idea though to like have ranks of them where you like work your way up.
No, you have to win a certain number of debates in order
Yeah,
to.
to debate a certain person that you want actually want to debate. Yeah, we
Oh
already
my
did
god.
the we already did the one of the flat Earth guys. He was the one who debated Mr. Pilu. That was their political ideals were very interesting. It usually like it spent about 30 minutes of Pilu just yelling at Lucky that he's insane, while Lucky talked on about how the Earth is flat. That's, but yeah, all right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and go. You two have fun. I'll see you guys later.
All right. Thank you for
Okay.
coming. Okay, so y'all go on his channel.
Yeah, well, I look forward to seeing that. You debating the chaptranis would be great.
Yeah,
Do
I
you
would
want to
debate.
have a look? Do you want to have a look at their channel or something?
Um, well, I can't really. Well, we can look at it, but you won't be able to hear it from my computer. I can, no, because we can't hear their, right now we can't, the computer I'm using, we can't hear what they're saying on their channel.
Okay, never mind then. I'll have a
Yeah,
look later.
yeah, we can have a look. We'll look. So what have you been up to?
Oh, not much, not much. I'm just really kind of working out the characters in this Christian community who are having their Chino conference on the 18th of May in California, because basically I want them to um, talk about secular Quranism. I want them to complain about secular Quranism, and I basically asked 30 questions. It's like, oh, these 30 questions are not going to be allowed to ask it because their ridiculous estuary protocols are so deliberately censorious, because it's like you go all the way to this conference and then you can't just say what you like. You're divided into groups, and then the leader of the group has to be able to decide, which subjects are allowed to be discussed. And it's a woman, a female therapist, and it's like it's completely censored. It would drive me crazy.
Well, what do you expect from people like this?
What, people like this, as in middle class people who are completely
Well,
neurotic?
religious, it's, if they're all hyper religious, yes, of course, you have to have, there's certain topics they don't want you veering into.
Oh, like the Trinity. Oh, I wanted you to have a look at my 30 questions, and I mean, okay, so I basically drafted them, and I thought how clever I was, but maybe it doesn't even make any sense to most people. But I know you're theologically knowledgeable, so you might kind of understand the import behind them. I've just put the link in, but you may
You,
or may not wish to consider it.
it's, what is it? It's your questions on the Trinity?
Well, yeah, 30 questions that I'm saying, they probably won't be able to discuss when they go there.
Is it on your Radicalized Rabbi website?
Yeah, I've just posted the thing
Okay.
in the private chat now, so you can, read it or whatever.
Okay, I'll find it. Yeah, Paul Vanderklay.
Uh, yes, I mean, basically it says, what does it say? Will the estuary protocols about this?
Um,
Because I mean, this Chino conference is all about spiritual home, and it's obviously these kind of Christian Americans, who are not really sure anymore. But I think the thing that unites them is that they're white and middle class, and they need a religion, and they can't, well, they can't get the hit that they used to get anymore.
Well, they can't get the what? The hit anymore?
The hit. I mean, I don't know. I suppose I'm equating it to a drug. When you you take it and it doesn't have the same effect. It doesn't seem to be working. That kind of idea.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to see how this book is going. I just started it, so I want to give it some time before I
What's this book again?
Freemasonry, to Kabbalah and Freemasonry.
Okay.
I might read another one after this.
Okay.
On Freemasonry, I'm not sure yet.
So what has it said so far?
Well, we just started getting into its discussion on Freemasonry. Like, it was just a bunch of introductory, I don't even know. It was just a bunch of introductory stuff, and now we've just started getting into Kabbalah.
Right. Do you have any views about Buddhism? Have you ever explored it?
A little bit. Well, I explored Hinduism, so it's not that different.
So what would you say is the main difference between Buddhism and Hinduism?
I don't know.
Yeah, because I mean, sometimes I think, okay, Buddhism came after Hinduism. They believe in reincarnation. They believe in not doing bad stuff. And, I mean, I guess with Buddhism, it's sort of slightly more principled, Four Noble Truths and Eightfold Way or whatever it is.
Maybe. I want to look a little bit more into it. I have done a little bit of investigating, like, into the differences, and I did write about it.
But you've forgotten.
About, kind of.
Okay. So what made you prefer Hinduism to Buddhism? Is it because of the greater choice of idols to worship from that made you?
Yeah, kind of, maybe, probably because, well, Hinduism is a little bit more traditional polytheism, a little bit, than Buddhism is. And, Hinduism is more elaborate than Buddhism is.
Yes, I think Buddhism tries to sort of simplify it, by trying to, I don't know, use it into a set of principles, which Hinduism just doesn't have. It's just got, just these stories, the Bhagavad Gita, the Mahabharata. Did you read any of that?
Mm-hmm.
So the basic things. Yeah.
I read the
So
Gita,
the basically stories.
Yes, I mean there are laws. There's no like one book of laws that all Hindus follow, but there are law books that you can choose from to follow.
Mm-hmm.
You can choose to follow them.
Yeah, but I guess listening to all these debates, I just think people, they get angry and confused about morality, and I'm saying, actually, morality, it's divided into public morality and private morality. So public morality will always be supported by by law, which says, things like the no-hide laws, you can't kill, steal, that sort of thing. And private morality is spirituality, and what to do with prayer and rituals and conscience and that kind of thing. And they're basically two different things, but people don't realize it, and they sort of mix and match, and then they get really confused. Oh, have you heard of John Vervaeke?
You've mentioned his name before.
Okay, but you haven't sort of looked at any of his videos or?
No.
Okay. But he's basically touting Buddhism, but a very, Western kind of Buddhism. It's all about, I don't know, I mean, I read his stuff and it's like, it's sort of like me saying blah, 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 slut, blah, 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 lashes, blah, 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 blah. It's like, and it doesn't even have to make sense. I just sort of repeat a few words, and then the people listening to me would get all excited thinking I'm addressing their issues, but actually I'm not, because I'm not actually saying you have to lash them, you 100 times be saying blah, 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 and I think a lot of people, obviously they're scared, they don't want to be, called fascist Nazis and all kinds of things. So they don't really say anything, and they use words in a way that an octopus might use ink. And, a lot of the people in the chat, they're not very bright usually, and they just sort of like this sort of soundscape when they, hear that, the issues that concern them being kind of talked about in rotation. They don't really expect a solution. They don't really care. They only come online to, gossip with other people in the chat, and that's it. They're not interested in doing anything more than that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people are not really interested in political activism. A lot of YouTubers, I don't think they even, they think their YouTube account is the main thing, and obviously they have their super chats to worry about. They want lots of subscribers. They get really worried if they lose subscribers, lose their monetization, and in the end they end up behaving like a politician. And I guess I'm saying I'm not like that.
Well, I mean, you do want to kind of you want to maximize, well, you're looking for maximum attention and minimal principles. We talked about this last time you were on.
Oh, I don't think it's quite fair to say I don't have principles. I don't know why people say that.
No, it's not that you don't. I didn't say. Well, no, minimum. You basically want to get maximum attention and you're doing that through minimum compliance or requirements. You're lowering the threshold of what is acceptable in order to get more viewers.
I don't know how am I? Okay, what is acceptable anyway? I mean, acceptable.
Well, I mean, you're not. Well, like you said, you're letting Carol spread secular Quranism, but without a one-party system, and like it's just.
Well, I can't stop her, but I mean, the best I can do is argue with her about it. That's all I can do. I can't forbid her. It's not like, oh, she's a member of the Secular Quranist Club and I can kick her out. I mean, I can't.
Maybe you should start a club.
No. There's no point to it because, nobody wants to join, A, and B, they wouldn't care if I kick them out and they'd start their own one or whatever. So, that there's no point even doing it. I mean, all I can say, from the UK is that, well, if you're going to do it this way, it's not going to work, which is what I do to her anyway. It's not going to work. You just sort of saying, oh, I just want a few of these principles, and then everything will be fine. And I'm saying, no, you actually have to say, Americans need a new moral system, and it's got to be secular Quranism, which is the anti-room to Islam. And you've got to say it, because otherwise, it's like people don't really believe you. I've seen all these sort of micro parties, and they say, I represent this little issue, and if you vote for me and I win, everything will change. And of course, nobody believes them, because even the most moronic voter will know that if they're really upset about something, one little law is not going to change anything, and really they need a kind of revolution. And if you don't even talk about radical change, they just assume you're not being serious about it and won't even listen to you anymore. So I mean, secular Quranism is basically, well, if you really want to fix things, this is what is really required, and you may not like it, and you may not think you have the stomach for it. So off you go. There's no point talking to you. I'm not going to pretend that if you just vote for me on this little issue, everything else is going to just start working again. I'm not going to pretend. And I think, okay, so I'm basically holistic, and Carol is just sort of piecemeal, a little bit here, a little bit there, a little party that is going to be smaller even than the Libertarian Party, saying, vote for. Maybe you can just sort of fit it in, and I'm saying there's no point. I mean, so we have a difference of opinion about, tactics and strategy. And I'm saying, I just don't ever want to be in a position of, just supposing everybody, I asked for very little, and just supposing it was given to me, and I wouldn't be able to make it work. I mean, if I didn't say, I need a one-party state to make this whole thing work, and they just, threw me some little bone about, saying they're gonna lash, they're gonna show disapproval of unmarried mothers. It's not going to work, because then all these unmarried mothers will say, so what if you show disapproval, or just withdraw our benefits? We're not scared of that. And so, I mean, I would have to say, lash them 100 times in public for them to really sort of find it objectionable. Because if, a lot of people say, well, withhold their benefits. And it's like, it's not scary enough. We're withholding their benefits. And so, it does have to be a little bit frightening for people to notice, for them to even notice. And I know, I guess a lot of people are morally compromised. They have, members of their own family who are, unmarried parents, or, their own grandchildren, their own children. And they don't want to say these things because, obviously it's going to be embarrassing. It's like, well, how come your kid gave you illegitimate grandchildren, that sort of thing.
Just keep
But
talking.
I'm saying it doesn't matter.
Claire?
Okay. Yeah,
just keep talking.
I'll keep talking.
Because I'm doing something.
Okay, so I'm basically saying you have to be radical enough to be eye-catching enough for people to kind of do a double take and, well, okay, basically you want them to engage, you want them to argue with you, you don't want them to think you're just a lunatic, and a lunatic that has no understanding of how politics works. and therefore, you have to find ways of, gaining engagement, getting interest when you don't have a political party, and then this is really what I'm doing. Okay, there's only 2 people watching now, watching this video that says no more Claire Khaw, and yet here I am again. Okay, so my short to medium term plan is to get the people attending the Chino conference to ask these 30 questions that I was hoping would that Vincent would read and consider one by one. There are 30 questions, so here goes. I'll read them out. But my computer is so slow. So I'm closing Windows now. But yeah, I'm glad that I discussed Hinduism and Buddhism with him, because I think the improvement that the Buddha made about Hinduism is to distill compassion and wisdom into a few principles. They're still not really good enough, but it's a start. So here we go, the 30 questions for Christians to ask at the Chino conference. Number 1, does America need an official religion? Number 2, has representative democracy failed? Number 3, is America a Christian nation? Number 4, what Christian principles does the government support? Number 5, if your government does not support any Christian principles, doesn't that mean Christianity has failed? 6, what are Christian principles? 7, if the official moral and political orthodoxy of America is not Christo-liberalism, what is it? 8, was Christianity meant to fail because of its idolatry? 9, is God waiting patiently for Christians to realize that Christianity is idolatry? 10, is idolatry the worship of anything that isn't God? 11, how is Christianity not idolatry? 12, how is Jesus God? 13, is the Trinity idolatry? 14, isn't idolatry a mortal sin in Christianity? 15, is associating partners with God worse than idolatry? 16, is Christianity associating partners with God? 17, why did God, if he exists, allow 3 Christian global empires to rise if he does not approve of idolatry? 18, did God create a universe in which the sin is its own punishment? 19, why did the founding fathers reject Christianity and monarchy? 20, was the American Revolution a rejection of Christianity and monarchy, confirmed in the French Revolution and reconfirmed in the Russian Revolution? 21, was the First Amendment based on Chapter 2, verse 256 of the Quran? 22, what is the authority for the proposition that Jesus is God? 23, which is easiest to believe and why? A, Arianism. B, Trinitarianism. C, Unitarianism. 24. Why was Arianism under Constantine the Great and his son abandoned in favour of Trinitarianism in the Edict of Thessalonica of 380 AD? 25. Was the doctrine of the Trinity cooked up at Nicaea by a bunch of bishops who couldn't even agree, called to a council by an emperor who wasn't even Christian? 26. Do Judaism and Islam have higher status scripture than Christianity because their scripture are believed by Jews and Muslims respectively to be the word of God, or the New Testament was only written by mortal and fallible men of dubious provenance, testifying that they met an executed blasphemer? 27. What was Thomas Jefferson trying to excommunicate to future generations of Americans with the Jefferson Bible? 28. If you had to base your theocracy on the Quran or the New Testament, which would you choose and why? 29. If God exists and did indeed reveal the Torah and Quran to humanity, how offended would he be if Christians continue to prefer the word of mortal and fallible men when they could be rightly guided by the Quran? Finally, question 30. Why is the Athanasian Creed, which is authority for the proposition that Jesus is God, never mentioned these days? Vincent?
Yes. Well, they're not bad
There's nobody
questions.
in the chat.
They're not bad questions. They're not bad questions, but I don't think they're going to answer them. Yeah, I don't think they're going to answer that.
Okay, I'm going to watch the, I can't even do it because it's not my own stream. All right, third person watching now. I guess the first two is Vincent and me. Who are you, third person watching?
Yeah.
If you say something, I might say something back. Or shall I just leave now that Vincent appears to have abandoned his own stream?
You can't.
All right. Well,
you can't hear me, Claire. Can you hear me?
For listening, and thank you, Vincent, for
Hello.
having me on.
Hello. Wait, can nobody hear me? Claire, can you not hear me? Hello, is there anyone in the chat right now? Can anyone hear me? Claire couldn't hear me at all. But I see my little, I'm lighting up. Well, it says people can hear me. Hold on, I guess I can go to the YouTube and see if people can hear me.